90.1 FM, WJOU, and it is time for our breakfast chat. Let me tell you, all this new equipment here that we have. Yeah, we got some technical difficulties occasionally. So listen, here we go. We do have a breakfast chat, and we're so excited to have Pastor Debleaire Snell here with us to talk to us about the events of this final weekend of Black History Month, as well as Pastor Kimberly. Man, my girl is here.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning. It's good to be back again.
Amen. Yes, it is. And I'm so glad to have you guys in here again. Mm-hmm. So listen, you got a great big weekend coming up for this weekend, this last weekend of Black History Month. Come on, give us a quick recap, though, because it's just been a great week.
Man,
great month.
It has been a whole month of activities.
Yes.
And we're really excited just because God has been really good to us as a people. And I think it ought to show up not just in schools or places of formal learning, but especially in the house of God.
Absolutely.
So, the first week we were acknowledging some real-time Black history makers. So we were able to acknowledge Dr. James Gilbert, one of the leading pediatric surgical influences in the greater Tennessee Valley. He's also a member of the First Seventh-day Adventist Church, part of our community, along with Tosun Knight. And he's a tremendous mentor, has done tremendous work in the greater Detroit area. And then that Saturday night, what did we do that first Saturday night?
So,
man, there's so many different
so much going on.
So much happening. So that first Saturday night, I
forgot what it was.
We were in church.
We were in church, yeah. And then, then the second weekend was our Valentine's weekend. Yeah. And then that evening, there was a great Valentine's gathering under the theme, the Harlem Renaissance.
Yeah.
Everybody put on their zoot suits and their best dresses, and everybody had a great time. Yeah. Last week, we recognized individuals that made great contributions in the area of music. So Stephen Manders, Kelvin Wooten, also Gail Jones-Murphy, John Stoddard was supposed to be one, but he couldn't be there with us. Okay. Kurt Carr sang in the morning. They did a concert last Saturday night.
Yes.
I mean, that was out of this world.
Yes.
And then there was a Caribbean food festival to close out the day.
Yes.
And so
we had our Young Love Conference.
And we had a Young Love Conference.
Yes.
That's right.
That's for the young folks.
That's for our teens and our tweens. Yeah.
Nice.
So equipping them with like dating skills, friendship skills, social skills before they get to the Harlem Renaissance gala. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Right.
And so I think all the churches, so first week was like HBCU week. Second week, everybody did red. Last week was Caribbean week. And then so we'll go into this weekend.
I just say that, Black History Month is always just so much fun and just educational at the same time, giving exposure to different individuals and people in the community and around the world. And so I'm just so excited. I know you all are having a great weekend, this final closing it out. So what's happening at 11 o'clock Sabbath?
So just if you're in the greater Tennessee Valley, we'd love for you to join us at the Oakwood University Church. So this is our African Sabbath. So we encourage anybody to go out and grab your African attire as we just connect outwardly and inwardly with the motherland and representing our culture. And then this Sabbath, we have Anthony Brown and Group Therapy.
Wow.
They're going to be doing our music for this morning at 11 o'clock, completely free of charge. And then also, I'm going to be sharing a special message. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with this title. I think I may title it Little White Lies. That's what I think I might call it. I may change it. But
I don't know whether to
okay. But you got to give us a little more text.
Just really dealing with kind of some of the perceptions of race and how it has wrongly inserted itself in religion. And I think that there are just a lot of different faulty ideas that have been allowed to exist too long. So let me give you first this one. Like there's this belief that, slavery had some good that came out of it. And kind of the idea is that, that's how Africans got introduced to the Christian faith.
Mercy.
But actually, that's a terrible misuse of the gospel and a terrible rewriting of history.
That's a big old lie.
When the truth is that when you actually read the scriptures, it's a very tan and brown book.
Right.
And we were not introduced to it. And so we didn't start serving God because of slavery.
Right.
No, we served God in spite of slavery. And it was our faith in God that kept us, during kind of this rigorous time that was full of just so many societal pathologies. And so, we're going to really just kind of be looking, really at the word. And I think one of the things, especially when you look at art and the depictions of scripture or movies, you know how it is, like, the Ten Commandments, Moses is white,
Right.
the Egyptians are white.
With long blonde hair, blue eyes.
And it's funny because those things left somewhat of a mental injury on our people.
Wow.
But I think one of the kind of the crux of it is for kind of that emerging group of African Americans that's kind of moving away from the church, moving away from the gospel, because they are reacting to the lie as opposed to responding to the truth of the gospel. And so even one of the ideas is just that, we kind of say the gospel is inclusive, but I think the gospel is actually encompassing. So, because sometimes inclusive, it kind of suggests, all right, that this is ours.
Right.
But we're going to let you in on it.
We're going to let you in on the secret.
No, it's not your, it was for us too. And so the gospel is, it encompasses all cultures, all people who are willing to turn to him in faith. And so, so there's just
you better come get this word.
Things
Okay.
that we want to talk about and address. And it's not, to degrade any community, but it's to have a frank conversation about what history is and what it isn't, and to help us understand, like, we were not God's afterthought. No, we were part of God's original plan in terms of the salvation narrative.
Wow. So, and this is open to the public. Anybody can come. We got plenty of seats for you to come and enjoy.
Absolutely. Come get the music. Now, you see how he just dropped that spiritual appetizer?
Right, exactly.
Right? That spiritual bowl of cereal this morning. And he was like, if you want the real meal, you got to come. That was so good. And I think what you said is so important because, like, my son, it's Black History Month, so they're learning about all these figures. And my son came home and he was like, he came home mad. He was like, Mommy, I don't understand why everything we hear is bad.
Right.
We were treated bad. And then he even talked about the Israelites. He was like, they were treated bad by Goliath. And he's like, I don't understand why it just feels like all the things that refer to Black people of color were injurious. Like, he didn't use those words, but he was like, it just seemed like it's always an injury to us.
Right.
And I had to sit him down and say, no, baby. Like, we are survivors.
Yes.
We are all these beautiful things. And so I think that message is so timely because as we are instructing, we have to also remember that it is encompassing. And I think that's such a beautiful statement.
Wow. Yeah, I agree with that. That's really, really good. So you got that coming up on Sabbath and the special, there's no concert though, Saturday night.
No concert this week. Yes.
Just Anthony Brown during 11 o'clock.
Really, really, really powerful. Yeah. So Anthony Brown will be with us during our worship service. But we're trying to, because we've been in church all day. Every week for the last 2 weeks. So we're going to let it breathe a little bit in the afternoon, and then we'll come back for a special gathering in the evening.
So that special gathering, I think, is really, really nice. Unapologetically Black Artists and Authors Celebration.
Yes.
Tell us about that, Kimberly.
So
Kim.
This is the 4th annual Artist and Author Celebration. And what it was birthed out of is creating a space for us to celebrate artists, Black art, and Black writing, right? Because it's important. They say there's a saying that says history is told by who wins the story, whether it's the lion or the prey, right? And so I think how we tell our stories is so important. But there's a lot of times we celebrate and we talk about it in music, right? We celebrate the arts in all kinds of different ways, right? If you can sing, if you can play the piano, if you are a gifted orator, but sometimes there's not spaces for Black people who do I hate to say the small thing, but more of the background work. Those who are writing the books, who are telling our stories, and those stories can be told in art. We are historically creative, right? With the inventions that we have, and sometimes that can be lost if we don't keep telling the story. So I want us to the Arts and Author Celebration is about continuing to tell the story through art and through writing.
And it's funny because there's a kind of a biblical idea that supports that. So you remember the story when Israel was about to cross the Jordan River?
Yes.
And what God told them, he was like, man, I want y'all to grab 12 stones from the river. And these stones, when you stack them up at Gilgal and by Jericho, whenever somebody in future generations come by and ask, what do these stones mean? It's going to be an opportunity for you to witness and tell the story of how God opened up the Jordan River so our people could pass through. But one of the things that I think oftentimes gets lost in that, he says, make sure that there is a man from every one of your tribes. In other words, he's saying, so there were the mixed multitude that came with them, other people from other nations that joined with them on the sojourn. But the whole point was, don't let anybody else grab one of those stones. It's got to be somebody ethnically that is from one of these tribes.
Right.
Because these people who carry these stones, in many ways, they're going to be the storytellers. They're going to be the heralds. They're going to be the ones that are going to embody this history.
Right.
And his whole point was, don't let somebody else
Tell
be
your
responsible
story.
for telling your story.
Absolutely.
Like, you've got to tell it. And I just think, even when you talk about the kids, so one of the things I've noticed with our kids as well is not that they're against our history, but I do think for small children, there is that sense of heaviness that everything that's connected with us kind of seems to be an underclass or kind of revolves around a motif of oppression. That's simply a component of our history. But it's because, like all of our written history, in many ways, simply tells from the time we landed, or I was going to say Plymouth Rock, by the time Plymouth Rock landed on us, by the time we landed here, and kind of that struggle. But, you know, it's funny, like, history has these great cycles to it.
Absolutely.
And so, like, right now, or maybe in, say, the last 400 or 500 years, you may be seeing maybe maybe a larger dominance of a particular people group. But do you realize, when you look at history, brown people groups kind of ran the world for a long time. And the great innovations, all that stuff. So I'm saying all that to say, not to say that was ever good or bad, but we were not always in the position that we found ourselves in, once we landed here in North America.
So the beautiful thing is, at the Arts and Authors event, there will be artwork that is from Africa, that was crafted by African hands. There's going to be artwork that's done by our community people that was crafted by African American hands. There's going to be painting. There's going to be interactive paint. So we can be now a part of telling the story. There's going to be live music. There's going to be children's books. Because we don't want it to just be us telling the story. If we don't teach the next generation how to tell their story, tell our story their way, we're going to lose the story. And so we invite children authors, youth authors. We invite community members. We invite creatives, people who I have a friend who can knit that can knit you an outfit in about 5 minutes with some yarn. And that is an expression of how beautifully we do all kinds of things. So there's going to be all kinds of things.
And there's going to be a fashion show
There's
too?
going to be a fashion show.
Come on now.
Because part of how we express ourselves through art is how we express ourselves through dress. Now listen, y'all hear Donna's voice, but y'all don't see Donna dress. Okay, Donna is one of the baddest in the land. Okay, in the Tennessee Valley to do it. And how we dress, how we express ourselves is part of our art and part of our expression. Is part of our story. And so we're gonna have a fashion show where we get to express how we dress up, how we dress out, how we dress down. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's kids in the fashion show. There's adults in the fashion show. Listen, you could be in the fashion show. Come on out. Come on out.
You can come and show up and
show up and be a part. There is a runway, and so we have different segments where our community leaders and people from the audience and people who are watching, people who are right here, can come be a part. So we invite you. If you are a designer, you have clothes, and you want to show off what you got, come on, be a part of that fashion show. It's going to be a really great time.
So it's not just African attire though either.
It's not just African
it's whatever you want
inspired
to.
attire.
It's African inspired attire. Absolutely.
Okay.
There's going to be a blackout segment because we're unapologetically black.
Yes.
There's going to be I don't want to give it all away, but it's going to be really awesome. There's a dress to the nines. There's a do it for the culture, so you can rock your HBCU, your Jordans, your J's, because how we express ourselves is so beautifully done across the diaspora. I had a chance to go to Botswana, and in Botswana they greet you by saying pula. It is an expression of, it means let the rain fall, and rainy season is a blessing, right? And when you go, the way they dress to go to the grocery store, you're like, wait, that's how we do it?
Oh wow.
And so sometimes some of that is lost in translation. So I want to encourage us to be a part of that. It's a family event. Everybody can come. It's free.
Okay.
So it's a Saturday night to celebrate the last day of Black History Month.
Wow. And open to the public, as you said. So the whole community is invited to come out and enjoy and have a great experience over at Oakwood University Church for this. How many vendors do you think you're going to have? Just trying to paint the picture of, I just see a market or something like that.
It's going to be we have about 30 vendors who are going to be selling their books, showcasing their artwork, showcasing their clothing. It's going to be all kinds of things. And although it is Arts and Authors, there's going to be, like I said, an interactive exhibit. We have children's storytelling.
Oh, wow.
And they're bringing live live animals that the children can interact with. It's going to be so beautiful. And there's going to be people, I mean, they're going to bring their books and their shea butter, right?
Wow.
So you
I like that. Books and shea butter.
I need a little shea butter from time to time. That's right up my alley.
That is Black History Month.
Yeah.
Okay, books and shea butter. So there's going to be about 30 vendors. There's going to be food. There's going to be something just designed for just the children.
Wow.
There's going to be a networking event where maybe you've been wanting to write a book. You've been wanting to tell your story, and you're just not sure how. I've got this amazing history. I've got a family legacy. I've got my own story. Where do I start? And so there's going to be other authors there who you can connect with, who you can talk to about how to get that process started. We always have our very own Pastor Snell come on and talk about. Now, Pastor, how many books have you written?
Oh my God, you can't count them, right?
It's
more than eight, right?
It's 8. Yeah. That's
really.
It feels like 17.
100
Yeah,
or
it feels
something.
like it feels that way.
Yeah, so if you've ever wanted to find out Pastor Snell's process, he's always there. He's going to be there and kind of sharing what he does, and you can meet the author himself. And so it's
Is he
just
signing the book signing and everything?
He'll have some books there.
Well, I will now.
Yes, he will
I
have
will
some
now.
books there. Yes. And so some of these voices and some of these faces, we want to invite the community to come meet in person and come glean from this wellspring of giftedness that we have in our city. That sometimes because the city gonna have a concert.
Yeah.
The city is gonna have we're gonna sing.
Yeah.
We're gonna have all kinds of events, right? But we want to create a space for the creators.
Right.
And it's funny because when we talk about Black excellence, too often we limit it to a movie or music or sports. But no, we've got so many gifts right here in Huntsville, right here in our community, and we want to put them all on display.
Why is it so important for faith communities to be so intentional about celebrating Black excellence?
Well, honestly, I just think faith communities have been the bastion, the protector, and the incubator for it. So, I just think that, and honestly, excellence flows from your faith and your walk with God. And so that's why I think it's very, very important. But I just think though as well, because the church, at least for now, has a certain autonomy from government, government, civil agencies, educational agencies, there is this whole kind of attempt to remove woke from the culture. And really what that means is kind of things that celebrate Black culture, history, or acknowledge Black grievance.
Right.
Literally, museums are being stripped. Certain books are being removed from libraries. History is being rewritten in schools to kind of fit a certain narrative. And I just think right now, we're one of the few agencies that still has the autonomy to stand up and say no. And we can, kind of communicate a more accurate narrative. We can do it in love without hate or malice toward any other group, but kind of says, no, this is kind of what we've endured. But by God's grace, this is where we are.
Right.
And through faith, this is where we're going.
Right.
And church has been the place where it has been the catalyst, the hub of us telling our story. So if you look at the Children's March in Birmingham, it was housed in a church. The children went to the church. If you ever listen to this amazing story of how children desegregated Birmingham, it was the Children's March, and they went into the church and they sent them out in groups of 50. And the dogs and the water hoses were out, and they would arrest a group, and another group of 50 would come out from the church. The church was the place where Dr. King could speak freely. The mosque was the place where Malcolm X could promote his messages.
Correct.
The churches have been the place where we have been able to unapologetically tell our story, unapologetically empower our people, unapologetically train the next generation to be able to go out and be fearless against injustice. And if we don't continue that movement by making church a place where free thought and all of these different spoken word are places where they're cultivated, we're going to lose it.
Right. Okay, so I did hear you all say that people can still come and participate. So let's talk about that information. Who do they contact and what can they do to be a part of it in addition to just coming and enjoying the experience?
Absolutely. So I'm glad we're on today because today is the last day. If you would like to come be a vendor, of course, the doors of the church are always open. But if you would like to be, if you would like to be a vendor, we want to invite you to email information information at oucsda.org, and we can get you a table so you can share your book, your art. If you are a poet and you'd like to share some spoken word that is unapologetically Black and unapologetically appropriate, we would love for you to come. We're going to have a live band, and there's going to be an open mic if you would like to come walk in the fashion show. All of that can be done through that email, information at oucsda.org. We'll get you a table, we'll get you a mic, we'll get you a runway, so you can come be a part of that. And it's just going to be a really good time.
Really good time. And if you're if you're listening and you're online, you're in Birmingham, you're in
wherever
Nashville, you're in Atlanta, and you want to make a trip over, there's plenty of good room. You can get here in a few hours and be right back where you need to be.
From New York, right?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's all free of charge.
And it's all free of charge. And I want to share that. I think it's so important, even as we're talking about people who want to be vendors. Somebody right now is saying, I don't think it applies to me.
Yeah.
But art is so encompassing. I'm talking about photography is art. Painting is art. Spoken word is art. Creating crafts with our hands, it's art. All of these things are artistic expressions. That book that you've been holding on to, that you've been sneaking copies under people's windshields, come on, bring that book, right?
Yeah.
This is the space not just for experienced artists and authors, but for those who you have a story to tell. The word of God. Can we say the word of God this morning? That they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. So this is not just an art exhibit. This is a testimonial. And we want to invite the community out to that.
I love that. Thank you, Pastor Mann and Pastor Snell, for coming and sharing with us and helping us understand, reminding us that culture and faith are not separate.
They're not separate.
They work together.
Yes.
That's it.
Thank you. Anything else you want to share before I let y'all go? Did we get it?
I think we
I think
got it all.
You want to be on time because you want to get a seat for Anthony Brown.
Do.
Right.
You definitely want to come. Then you can go get to have a little potluck, get some food, and come on back. And bring the whole family.
So you can stay the whole. No, that starts at 7
That
p.m.
starts at 7. So
that's a long time.
Yeah, because we want you to go home and get your outfit.
Exactly.
We want you to go ahead and put on your all black.
It sounds like the Met Gala to me. It's going to
Come on, because every Black person's got that one thing in their closet that they've been waiting to wear.
And you can wear it. So whether it's formal,
a place to wear it to, you can wear it here. Whether it's formal and you've just been waiting for a red carpet, whether it's those new J's that have been sitting, you just want to do it for the culture. Come on out. So go home. We give you time to go home, get changed, and come on out and just have a good time for the whole family.
Thank you so much, guys. This is fun. It sounds exciting. And again, the public, you are invited to come out and enjoy this experience over at Oakwood University Church. They're located at 5500 Adventist Boulevard in Huntsville, right at the footprint of Oakwood University. And they're there all day on Sabbath. And beginning at 11 a.m. is the 11 o'clock service. And that's going to be featuring Anthony Brown. And then all of the activities going up until the Unapologetically Black Artists and Authors Celebration.
There we go.
Great weekend.
It'll be a good time.
Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you out there for
Donna,
listening.
you know what I just thought about?
Yes.
If somebody comes on Saturday and they say that they came because they were listening, we will have a special gift for them.
Oh,
Come on
man.
now.
Oh, man.
So we'll
All
have
right.
we'll have a special guest for maybe the first two
The
or three
first 2
people.
or 3.
Yeah, 2 or 3
Okay.
people who say, I was listening on WJOU and I heard and I came. We'll have something special for you.
Wow.
See, I
that
see you gave a
sounds great.
qualifier. First
Yeah,
2 or
you
3.
better say 2 or 3 because let me tell you, they're going to come.
Oh, man. Yep.
Thank you so much. And we always it's a pleasure to have both of you here to talk about Oakwood University and the things that are happening over there. So thank you so much for being with us for our breakfast chat this morning
God
on Try Out
bless.
Thursday.
Blessings.
See you.
Public service announcement. Please wash your hands. Wash your hands. 20 seconds and it's over.
If you're sick with COVID-19,